Hello and welcome to Honest Car Reviews. My name is Eric and this is the Alpine A110 S. The stiffer, faster and more focused A110. And the simple question is, since the standard A110 was so monumentally good, can the Alpine improve on the base recipe? Or does the S show that there is another path that the Alpine brand should take? Or is this just another cash grab? Firstly, the exterior. In this metallic white, winter rims, since it is getting a bit cold here in Sweden, compared to the blue standard A110 that I tested before, this S, at least from afar, looks almost nothing like what I would expect an S to look like. And that's because the name S has become synonymous with bigger air intakes, meaner face, and of course, splitter, an abundance of exhausts, aggressive rear, fatter tires, and some interior tweaks. And in some of these aspects, the A110 S follows the same trail. Look a bit closer though, and you can see deep orange brake calipers. They're from Brembo, and they are upgraded to 320mm, both front and rear. But it is possible to upgrade the standard with A110. So this is nothing unique about the S. And it's also a bit difficult to see because it is a sports car, but the S is 4mm lower than the A110. This car is also fitted with the carbon fiber roof, saving 1.9 kilograms. This is also an option that you can have on the standard A110, and this doesn't come as standard for the S either. Finally, the front has been removed of the Alpine name, and in the rear there should be dark gray black Alpine here as well. However, there's nothing here. And also, instead of the tricolore, you have orange and carbon fiber inserts. So this is in some way the only way of knowing that this is an S. Personally, I would go for the matte grey called Tonnerre or Tonnerre. Instead, we have the white Iris, and only drive it in the summer so I could get those GT Race black wheels. And with those wheels, you get 215 in the front and 245s in the rear. Since this car has winter tires and winter rims, they are the standard 205 in the front and 235 in the rear. You see here 205 and 235. So this width is the same as in the standard A110. Going back to the color, these Iris have beautiful flakes. I don't know if you can see it, but in the night and when the light is completely right, those metallic flakes just shines and gives the exterior an extra dimension. In the end, it is the details that makes the exterior of the S. But is it enough? Logically, it is the most cost-effective way of giving something different while still being the same. But it does shine through that this is just that, done in a cost-effective way. And inside is a mixed bag. Enough space for a tall guy like me, which is key to actually being able to sit comfortable and to actually being able to appreciate the interior. Carbon fiber Sabalt bucket seats, which comes standard for the S. They're way too tight, but they really support you and keep you in place. So you don't have to support your knee against the side door. They weigh only 13.1 kilograms a piece. They also have some orange stitching, and the theme around the interior is orange. So orange on the steering wheel, orange on the center console, or orange on the dash here, orange on the side doors. And the orange and carbon fiber insert, which is the S logo. However, you also have the ridiculously bad infotainment system. It is in some ways quite useful if you press the A, go into the Alpine section of it all, where you can have information for the power, your throttle, the turbo pressure, the intake temperature. And this is where I am for the most of my time, where you can have all temperature related information. So if it gets too hot, I know that. If it's not warm enough so I can't push it, I know that. Really smart and clever stuff, and useful to have when you track this thing. The car also have an upgraded sound system with focal speakers. It costs 700 euros, and this is not worthy of its price. It comes alive at higher volumes, but at lower volumes there's not enough dynamic range, and when you pay 700 euros for something, it should feel like it's upgraded. No changes have been done to the digital gauge cluster. It is the same as in the A110, so that means a lot of blue. And what I would like to have for the S is to remove all of the blue and replace it with orange and do a bit of restyling. Orange here instead of blue would fit phenomenally well, and it would give that extra touch. And you can hear the 1.8 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, the same as in the Megane RS. However, this engine has been tuned a bit, so 1.4 bars of turbo pressure more, so that equates to 292 horsepower, 40 more than the A110, and that extra horsepower is reached high up in the rev range, so it is really rev hungry, but the torque is unchanged, apart from that it's available for a longer period of time, 1400 RPMs higher than the A110. With 40 extra horsepower and around the same weight, 1110 kilograms give or take, the 0 to 100 kilometers an hour time is 4.4 seconds, which is 0.1 second faster than the A110. So straight line acceleration is not what this car is about. Do I think that the car, its chassis, its exterior deserve a straight 6 or a V6? Absolutely. With the increase in turbo sound, the intake sound, and the exhaust sound, and the pops and bangs, it really equates to an immersive experience, and that's just from the sound alone. And I haven't even got into how it goes into corners. So let me start by what has been changed to the S. 50% stiffer springs, twice as stiff anti-roll bars, around 1.1 tons, and retuned electronic driving aids. And what does this equate to? In normal, yes, it gets chucked around quite a lot because of the stiffer springs, the stiffer anti-roll bars. But this car has smaller tires and a bit more sidewall, so it isn't unnecessarily uncomfortable. And because it is an S, I was expecting it to be a bit harsher than the standard A110. Normal and track are the two driving modes that you should be in. Sport gives you a bit more freedom, but the electronical driving aids, which have been retuned, are a bit too intrusive for my taste. And there hasn't been any additional modes, so there's normal, there's sport, there's track, which is manual only. So I'll go back into normal. And interestingly, when I go back to normal, the manual is still engaged, so I have to press drive to go back into automatic. The 7-speed Getrag dual clutch transmission in track, it shifts so aggressive. It really jerks you along. And it is on these twistier sections of road that the more stable and stiffer ride not only gives you more confidence, but makes the maybe not more enjoyable, but more immersive. Because you don't have to drive at ridiculous speeds to appreciate this sports car. You can put along at normal road speeds and feel like you're driving the best car in the world. And that's not something that you can say about a lot of cars. However, this gear shifter, it feels like this part is in metal, but the action of it feels very plasticky, very finicky, and I don't like it at all. And even with winter tires, you can still push it a bit, and since it is not as grippy as the standard sports summer tire, the rear slides a bit and you can get it to do a bit more what you want. It is a true driver's car in every sense of the way. It ticks every single box about being a driver's car. Yes, it is a bit expensive, but it's mid-engined, rear-wheel drive, lightweight, small but peppy engine. It just... the engineers at Alpine has done such a phenomenal job and created something that is not only fast but also approachable. And being a mid-engine car, I would expect the learning curve to be very high, but that isn't the case. It is a very enjoyable experience, and since it is a bit stiffer, you have a bit more control. It isn't as soft and it doesn't absorb the bumps as well as the standard A110. But you want that with an S. You want some more control, you want some more stability. That's what the S gives you. But this gives it the whole package. Well, the S was a logical choice, but it's difficult to justify the S when it's always compared with the standard A110. And that tells me that the people at Alpine haven't done enough to make the S stand on its own 2 feet. And a step up in price of just about 10,000 euros, when they can get the upgraded brakes, the upgraded seats, the lightweight carbon fiber roof. It is difficult to justify the S, but for the selected few, I mean, the Alpine A110 is for the rest of the 10% in the world that was something different and unique. And the S is for an even fewer selection of people that demands more and wants more and can appreciate what the engineers at Alpine have done. All the fine-tuning of the electronic driving aids, the stiffness, the stability. But for those people that bought the A110, I think we'll look at the A110 S and think that it's just too much money for too little. Because even though the Alpine is not about straight line performance, not about performance numbers, creating an S that is a bit about numbers and performance, it goes away from what Alpine actually is. So if they want to go away from the standard Alpine way, they need to do more. Make a car that can stand on its own 2 feet. That's my final conclusion for the Alpine A110 S. See you next time.